All right, well, hello, Bristol Warren Art Night viewers, and I'm Adam Tracy.
I'm William Schaff.
And this is our chat on Water Street about our Water Street electric boxes. This project was done through the town of Warren, as well as the Avenue concept. And I guess it started with, for me anyway, a chat with a friend of mine, Uriah Donnelly, who said, hey, come meet me down on Water Street, and had a bunch of ideas. Remember that first walk? There was also possibly drain storms that we're going to be doing some artwork on that didn't end up happening, but the electric boxes did.
It should be noted too that the reason Adam and I were approached for this was because Adam's born and raised in Warren, and Adam's been doing arts around the town for pretty much his whole life. So not only is he an artist of really good skill, but he is Warren. So Warren wanted to beautify their town. It makes sense they go to a Warren artist. Now, I moved to Warren only 20 years ago, but I've certainly worked hard to become a part of the community. And there are people that know me and know what I do. So I was brought in, I think, as another artist that is looked at as a Warren artist. So it wasn't just willy-nilly, hey, we want some art around the town. Let's just go pick someone we know. Adam knows what he's doing. I know what I'm doing. And they approached us from there. Because the town, Bob and Kate, they had never done this before. The town had never made public art before. They knew they wanted it. They didn't know how to do it. So they approached us, and the conversations went from there. And then that also led to the Avenue concept, which has been doing public art around the city of Providence and elsewhere. That led to them being involved.
Right. Start off with?
Well, I mean, I would say, and this is a question obviously we're not going to hear the answer to right now, I'd be curious to hear what people have thought about it. I remember I was pleasantly surprised. It took me about 3 or 4 days to paint the different sides of my electric box. And as I was doing it, I was pleasantly surprised to hear how much people were happy that I was doing it.
Yeah.
They were saying, oh, isn't it great that we don't have to look at this plain old box anymore. But for people on the section of the street that I was doing it on, they were happy to know they had this imagery of a heron, which is a bird you would find around these parts, and that it just made their life a little nicer.
Right.
So I like that.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to hear what other people who have passed by it think.
As would I, and every time I pass by mine or yours, I always sort of slow down, and especially when there's somebody by it. And it's kind of fun to watch them interact with it, and kind of fun to watch them check it out or stand in front of it, and I sort of always look for that, yeah.
Well, especially for me too, who the majority of my work sold around the world. Mm-hmm. Very little of my work is actually bought and purchased and lives in Warren. And this is a town I love. So whenever my wife and I go out for a walk with the dog, it makes me happy to walk by it.
Yeah, of course.
And see that and know it's there. And especially because, I also did the windows down in Bywater, which is kind of down the other end of the street. So no matter which way I walk down the street that I love, I get to see evidence of my work, and my work is love, and this town I love. So to get to see that, it's a true joy.
Yeah, it's really cool. Let me ask you. It was very fun to do this project together in a lot of ways, as far as planning and bouncing ideas off each other. And this is one thing we talked about, but I don't know if I know how you ended up finishing it on the corners that are framed in of your heron. It's like, obviously yours is from a paper cut, and there's all these detail. And we had talked about you doing possibly a stencil to making it easier, or did you do it by hand? You did it by a stencil?
The corner is a stencil, and also on the black-capped night heron on the side, the thin one, parts of the hair in the water are also stencil. And I did that for the reason, in case it ever gets vandalized, it's going to be much easier for me to repair it.
Yeah.
So yes, if you look at, especially in the black-capped night heron on the side, the thin one, if you look at the water, it also allowed for overspray, which gives it more of a feel of water. And you did that technique that I'd never even known of, and my goodness, that was something. The technique of the halftone
dots. Yeah.
Yes, the halftone dots for a one-shot screen print stencil. I don't even know what you would call it.
Yeah, so when Uriah asked if we would submit designs, he needed them. Of course, it was he came up. The idea was presented, and it was like, I need designs by Wednesday, and I had come up with this half-tone fisherman, and then end up having a sign maker out of Cutler Mills cut it for me. Pulling the dots was awful, and then ended up spraying through that stencil with spray paint to get that half-tone fisherman on there.
Could a person running into that box of yours, what are they going to see? I mean, we've already seen a picture of it in this video of what it looks like, but why'd you choose the objects you chose?
Well, I thought about, obviously the space it was going to go in, growing up in town here, and stuff that just sort of becomes part of your everyday being down here, working waterfront type imagery, and that's kind of what I was going with. I mean, it's sort of like normal stuff that you see down here, but it's also kind of beautiful, like the way those twisted braided ropes are, those large, all that kind of fun stuff. It's sort of like just becomes part of your everyday down here, but it is really beautiful stuff too. And actually that came with, in our first meetings about this, which everyone who was involved, the Avenue Concept, Bob and Kate, everyone was great.
But I think that also speaks to the fact that this was a learning process for all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing art for over 20 years. I know you've been doing art for over 20 years. I have not done public art before.
Yeah, they were fantastic to work with.
Yeah,
and,
the town of Warren was fantastic to work with. And then, of course, with the Avenue Concept coming in, they bring with it experience that Bob and Kate and you and I didn't have. And also bring it into the larger picture. So, for instance, I know they have that app that if you get it, you can look at all the different light boxes and electric boxes painted around Providence and now Warren.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on that map.
Right.
So it's nice that this isn't just a little secret hidden in Warren. It becomes something that is a greater part of the Rhode Island arts.
Right. Come check it out, see what else is down here, that idea, yeah.